Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now, you've seen that saying on coffee mugs, right? Well, why aren't the IPL captains smelling the coffee? In 21 games so far this season, the chasing team has won just 5 times, yet in 14 games, the captain who has won the toss has chosen to field. So what's the deal with everyone choosing to chase and then losing in this year's IPL? Alright, so we know that decisions look bad on paper, but there is some logic to captains choosing to field first. Firstly, the long-term trends favor sides that chase both in the IPL and in T20s in the UAE. And the fact is, no one has quite nailed down why the trend has changed this year. Even the experts admit they fully understand why captains would choose to chase.
No explanation really. To be honest, I mean, I understand why the captains have chosen to field first, especially when you're playing after as long as you are. You don't quite know how the pitches are going to play. India, you probably would be a lot sure of what needs to be done, whether to bat first or bowl first. Bowlers haven't been at their best, a bit rusty. So those sorts of things, maybe a little bit of dew has played a part as well. So captains have sort of tended to just be a little bit sort of cautious or safe, or for lack of better word.
I'm a little surprised because ideally speaking, that's what you want to do, isn't it? I mean, you win the toss, you want to chase in limited overs format, especially in T20, gives you a roadmap how to go about chasing and for various reasons, dew and everything else.
Now, one word you heard both Deep and Ajit mention is dew. And it's a major reason teams choose to field in T20s. Now, if you're confused by all this talk of dew, it's quite simple. When there's dew, the ball gets wet, making it hard for the bowlers and fielders to grip, and moisture on the pitch can also make it quicker and better to bat on. And this season, despite the bat first and win trend, captains have consistently mentioned that there has been a lot of dew in the second innings. Before CSK's third game, MS Dhoni mentioned dew meant that the ball was not stopping as it was in the first. Steve Smith has played 2 games in Sharjah and says the ball gets really wet. Now, another important thing to keep in mind is that there are 3 different venues, and so far the teams have been shuffling between them, so there hasn't been much opportunity to really read the conditions. So, for example, for the first 6 games in Dubai, the captain who won the toss chose to field and did not end up winning even once. But it was a different captain every time. When David Warner finally won a toss for the second time in Dubai, he immediately chose to bat first. Stephen Fleming, the CSK coach, even called his team guinea pigs because they had to play the first game played in both Abu Dhabi and Sharjah. And Shreyas Iyer looked perplexed after chasing and losing in Delhi's first game in Abu Dhabi. Before the game, he said, the wicket looked pretty much amazing. After the game, he said his team had no idea how to read the pitch. Adding to the complication is that each venue has several different pitches, so captains can't necessarily go off what's happened in the last game. Rohit Sharma decided to chase in Dubai because the pitch looked drier than the previous ones and could play well under lights. Meanwhile, KL Rahul thought a fresh trip in Abu Dhabi would play evenly throughout. Stephen Smith actually thought watering the pitch before the game in Sharjah would make it tacky early on. And there's been many other conflicting opinions on the conditions. Now, what should captains do when the conditions are unpredictable? Warner eventually decided to buck the trend and just play to his side strengths. But MS Dhoni and Rohit Sharma have both cautioned against early trends, saying it could be due simply to mistakes committed by the chasing sides. And that's a hypothesis Deep Das Gupta agrees with too.
I've been fighting with that question in my head as well. Why? The only reason I can come up with is just ordinary batting, I guess. I guess that's the only thing I can come up with, to be honest. I mean, otherwise, there is no reason why so many teams have not been able to chase down totals. Yes, it's been high scoring.
As the teams play more games on the same grounds and strips, we may get a better idea of whether the always chase mantra in T20s gets challenged in this IPL.